G'day folks, Andy here from Aussie Homesteads. Today we're going to be making an automatic filling chicken waterer. And it's just simply a 20 litre container with a float valve in it. And when the water level drops, it automatically fills itself back up so you don't have to keep topping up the chicken's water. I'll put this little screen on the top to stop leaves and stuff falling in there. I'll take you into the workshop. Let me show you the girls while we're at it. There they are. I did a video on the top 3 chickens of Australia, and these girls are amazing. I'll just show you my banana tree while I'm at it. If you have a look up here in the banana tree, you'll see that it's starting to produce bananas. Ha! 1 year old, already getting bananas. Okay, let's go off to the workshop. Let's show you how to make an automatic chicken waterer. And all you need is, not this one, this is a chlorine drum. Get yourself a 20 litre drum. You can buy food grade ones from Kmart and all those sorts of stores. I don't particularly promote each store, but wherever you can get a clean food grade 20 litre container. So this is what we're starting with. One 20 litre container. This is one that we've used to make soap. So it's only had soap making base put into it. So it very, very easily rinses out. And what we've done is we've marked a line around a little bit lower than the halfway point. And we've cut it with the angle grinder. Now, if you look back in the videos, you'll see that I did videos on different types of cutting discs. You'll see that this is a standard cutting disc. It's about nearly 3 millimeters thick. And it doesn't tend to cut these things real well. It tends to melt them more than anything. Find these little I call them slitting discs. They're only about 1.5 millimeters thick. But you can see the difference between the two thicknesses there. One is a lot thinner, and these things just slice through plastic, slice through mesh. If you're cutting Rio or cutting concrete reinforcement mesh, these things are marvellous. They last for ages. One of these will outlast about 15 of those darn things. So yeah, just put it into your grinder. You can use a jigsaw if you're that way inclined. Drill a hole in it to get it started, and then just cut round the drum. And if you noticed in the where I showed you in the chicken pen, it had this sort of cutout. That's where the chickens are going to be drinking from, so they can stick their little heads over there, drink the water, because the water comes up to this level, see? So what I've done is I've set the float valve to that height. Now, let's have a good look at how these things work. You can have a look on eBay, and I'll chuck a link down in there. It'll be just one of the people that I buy stuff off of, but you can just put in automatic chicken water level spout, and it'll come up in the description. And these things have a thread on the end of them, so you can connect a tap nut to it. And the tap nut looks a bit like this. Just as you can click on your standard hose. If you've got Towns pressure, you can just click that, screw that on the end of there, and click your hose onto it. We use gravity feeding off of the tanks, so of course this level is always going to be lower than the tank, so it's always just going to gravity feed down. If you want to get a bit exuberant, you can put an inline tap. These are just irrigation taps from Bunnings. Simple on off. How do you tell it's an inline tap? We'll see how this points offline, and when you turn it inline, it's on. Offline is off, inline is on. That way you never have to remember it. You know darn well if that tap's facing the same direction as your pipe's running, that's an inline tap. It's on. So this one is currently on the off position, so you just put a short bit of that on the back. You can get a nipple fitting onto there and put your irrigation pipe on the back, put your inline tap, and you can actually turn this off so you can clean it. But to clean it is actually easy. Just get hold of them, flip them over, empty all the dirty old water out of there, and it'll self-refill back up again. So if you have a look down here, you'll see that where I've terminated this part that moves up and down, this is when it goes up. You'll see that in the first video, you could see the water coming in. And when it reaches a certain level, it turns itself off. It's automatic. And the water would come in under here. So this level here is the same level as the edge of the bucket. So when it's finished filling, it automatically raises itself and turns itself off. These are about 20 bucks. I think it was $23 delivered. In fact, it was cheaper to buy 2 of them, so I bought a spare. And that's what I've used to make this spare one. So now what I'll do is I'll list that on Marketplace and sell that. And for people that don't want to keep having to change their chicken watering buckets, chickens are a bit like ducks. They mess up the water and stuff falls in, debris falls in, and it gets all tan and colour. So all you got to do is take your simple 20 litre food grade container, slice it through a little bit less than half. See, it's about 30 millimetres up this rib. You can make them taller if you want. I mean, our chickens are quite big, so this is about, well, my hand span's 9 inches. It's about 4.5 inches, 150 millimetres or 170 millimetres, somewhere around about that high. Just basically judge it. And then once you've cut that round, all I did then was go up a little bit and then down a little bit and back to that level, and then I finally just cut this little section out with the grinder. You can use the grinder. I just used a good old Zito 4-inch grinder, or you can use a jigsaw. You just will need a starting hole. Okay, the spigots on these things, you'll see that there's a nut that screws on the back of here, and behind there is a silicone washer.